Joining me every Monday is Esther Krakue, writer, broadcaster, columnist, and so much more. Esther, great to see you again. What kind of message is that?
It's not exactly the best sales pitch you would expect for someone running for re-election. But Joe Biden, we have to remember, is in Morehouse College, which is a college in the state of Georgia, which is one of the key swing states that the Democrats are actually seeing nudge more and more towards Donald Trump, even though it was key in securing his victory back in 2020. Now, it's easier to basically talk about grievance politics and to talk about things that will make people angry instead of talking about aspiration, because once you talk about aspiration and prosperity and success and autonomy, people start taking a closer look, particularly on the Democrats' record on education, on immigration, and particularly how decades of basically Democrat rule in the Black community in the US has really stagnated their progress. So of course he has to do this. I mean, the speech was completely shambolic. These students are paying, around $50,000 to go to that college. You don't really want to be told that after spending all that money, the country that you're hoping to succeed in is against you. But he really has no other card to play. And this is one of the things that has become very clear with the Democrats. They're not talking about pulling people out of poverty or doing the things that we know actually lead to success, because if they do that, then those groups or those communities will not be as reliant on the Democrats or be a show vote for the Democrats in the future. And I think Donald Trump, for all his faults, summed this up when he said to the Black community, what else do you have to lose? And I think that was the most damning indictment of the Democrats, and particularly Joe Biden, because they have basically run mainly ethnic minority cities for decades, and they seem to be getting worse, not better.
But as you say, fees there are $50,000 a student, US, right? So what is it in Australia? More, going up to 70, unless you've got fee, some sort of fee relief. Their parents must be doing all right to afford that. And these kids now have a terrific launching pad to make good, fine education. I mean, why? How damaging is it to Americans? You've mentioned the political dynamic here. But how damaging a message to tell them they're victims because of their race, people who could get gunned down in the street despite obviously their advantages.
It's incredibly damaging, especially when you sort of push that rhetoric to young people who are filled with hope, right? Young people that are going out to take on the world. By telling them that they're off to a bad start just by virtue of the color of their skin, you're really kind of playing down their hopes for the future. And I think this is one of those things that you kind of see a split between sort of Black American attitudes towards America and Black African immigrants that go to the US. Because, Black Africans like myself know that we're coming from a place that's so much worse, and poverty is rife, and people that are against you just happen to share your reflection. These kinds of tactics don't tend to work, but in Black American communities you really see them resonate with the sort of grievance politics, because one, they don't really have much to compare it to, but also it really hits close to home in a way that people that come from outside that are really grateful for those opportunities don't see.
That's an interesting point, because remind me of Barack Obama, with his different background. Colin Powell, who became Secretary of State, he was from where? One of the islands off America. The victimology culture, that's been challenged by some inspirational Black conservatives. You've got Thomas Sowell in the US, you've got Trevor Phillips in Britain, I admire him, Jacinta Nampijinpa Price here in Australia. You now, a fresh voice in this debate. How come you've cast off the victimology that for many people, particularly of lesser talents, has been an armchair ride?
Well, I think it's a bit of a reality check, having lived in another part of the world. When you grow up in a place like sub-Saharan Africa, when you realize the people that are holding you back because of corruption and other sort of malicious state actions happen to share your reflection, you don't really kind of jump on the bandwagon saying, actually, it's the white man holding you back. And I think one of the things that many immigrants do try and tell a lot of Westerners, particularly in Britain, the US, Australia, is that you should make the most of the opportunities that you have, because you could be somewhere else where those opportunities simply don't exist, and they happen to be because of the people that look like you. So actually, a lot of the problems that face these communities transcends race, but unfortunately, American politics hasn't really progressed that far yet. It's incredible. The progressives are actually quite regressive.
Yeah, it is a shame, and it also talks down, the achievements of people, like yourself, Esther. I'm constantly in admiration of how far you've come in such a short time. I mean, it's just stunning. But, I wish I wish there were more inspirational people like you and Jacinta Price here. It's terrific. Thank you so much indeed for your time.